we will gladly commit to willingly playing or dancing on the grave of the site of any future embarrassing political event for any fascist white supremacist
Yes.
political figure.
With this fire, we collide. With this fire, we collide.
Wow, what a beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So I'm here on behalf of the Trump campaign as an attorney for the president.
Getting away from the political side of it is that it's more about like healing in this way, because it's not quite reclaiming spaces, right? It's a landscaping company parking lot, right? We can leave it as that. We don't need to reclaim it. But like mentally reclaiming, where it feels like we all witnessed this like completely psychotic hellscape episode event that was really stark and demonstrating like an ability for some people to be in total denial over what they just saw, you know, like regardless of politics, of being like, hey, everybody, like that was really fucking weird, right? Like, wasn't that weird? Like Giuliani standing in a landscaping company parking lot, like as a press conference for the president, you know?
Wow! All the networks! We have to forget about the law.
Building from that, not letting that just stand, not letting it go unquestioned, you know, addressing it in some way, even if you aren't verbally addressing it, like being there, continuing to go from there, like seems necessary in moving on mentally, at least for me, you know, like I want to go there and have some joyous thing happen that's like the complete opposite experience of what we all witnessed.
It's also just funny as shit, man. I don't believe that you and I get to dance on the grave of that terrible president, you know, and that's sort of how I feel about the whole thing.
Yeah, that is it.
Honestly, I like the idea of like the sort of like Nerf level subversive element of the whole thing, but like this is like what it's about.
Yeah, we booked a tour around the country in a lot of weird spots.
Yeah, I mean, because the truth is, there's beyond like everything else, all the venues closed, right? And then so there's like where there used to be 10 venues in this town, maybe there's 3, and then there's every single band wants to play, and so like there's more bands than ever wanting to play less venues than ever.
I reached out to Dave in Philly. Dave Kiss, he does a lot of punk and DIY stuff. I was like, I can't find is there an outdoor venue to play in Philadelphia? And I knew we were in a tough spot. It was one of the hardest places to book. Dave started mentioning, he's like, do you remember Four Seasons Landscaping? And they're like, just so you know, we got trees and stumps to pull on Monday, so we have to like, we have to mitigate all this.
The hell of an origin story, you know? Hell of an origin.
Yeah, it was like Rudy Giuliani broke ground on this punk venue that used to be a fucking landscaping place. It's amazing.
So I've had many fantasies over the past year and a half of just being in places with large groups of people and singing along, and this feels like that fantasy coming to life, so I thank you for it.
Brendan like put out a record in the middle of the pandemic. I put out a record and it changed plans. If anything, I learned the value of momentum, you know, like you're going and going and going for like 20 plus years, and all of a sudden everything comes to a stop, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I need to get going again, right? Like, and you realize how hard it is to do that, but then at the same time you're like, I don't want to go back and do things exactly the way we used to do that. Like, why would you do that? You know, like, let's do new exciting things going forward, which feels like that this is a part of that, you know, thinking like in new different ways. How do we adapt? How do we do this? I want something joyous to come from it. I want to stand in a parking lot and be surrounded by a bunch of bodies and to sing, like, and just to play a guitar and to sing and have everybody sing along and to feel a communal moment, you know, that is real and live and in person. And again, is healing, like is coming out of a situation. And I hope it's that. I hope that's not naive to say coming out of a situation where, you know, you're celebrating life.
We rock
Because us against them, we find our own reasons to sing. And it's so much less confusing when lines are drawn like that.